What is going on, you guys? Alejandro here, and welcome back to another episode of Magayon. In this episode, we're going to be building a residential area, but not just any residential area. We are going to be building yet another public housing complex inspired from, you guessed it, Singapore. We're going to be building another public housing complex, HDB housing from Singapore, and we're going to be taking inspiration from these three towers right here with a pool in the middle. So if you guys want to check out how I built this, keep on watching. And this is the public housing complex that we're building. Now you'd notice that there are three towers there, and there's this like lower tier, lower density type of building here, and this one is going to be the base level. It's going to be connecting all the three towers together, and it's going to serve as where the amenities of this residential area would be, because you wouldn't want because the Soviet buildings just are purely residential and there is no commercial, I guess, in the bottom floors. Now we don't want that to happen. We don't want this to be a high density suburbia, because that's a lot of buildings in China. We take inspiration from Singapore. We have these base buildings with all the amenities that you'd need in a residential area, in a community, like gyms, schools, churches, and all that kind of stuff. But you don't actually get to see that because they're inside of the building. So let's just imagine that there are. If you guys want to check out the assets that I'm using here, the links are down below for the asset list and the mods and everything. So if you guys want to check them out, links are down below. And I have placed a basketball court or a tennis court there because there is going to be an elevated park, or like the rooftop garden of sorts, connecting all the three buildings together. On top of the base buildings, like the ones that connect them, I'm placing this procedural object. This is actually a building, a park, a grass park, because if I use poppable surfaces, there is no, it's not visible if you're looking at from the bottom part. So I'm going to be explaining that in a live play in a bit, why I use this instead of poppable surface. But I'm going to be placing grass surfaces over it for homogeneity, so that everything looks the same, because the texture of the grass in this PO is different from the grass texture in the game. And another reason why I placed that, because the textures of the tennis court are not visible. I'm also adding a basketball court at the bottom because, this is inspired by the Philippines, a Cities Skylines Series inspired from the Philippines and other Southeast Asian nations. And, basketball cannot be, it's part of the culture. And yeah, I said that nobody really likes to be living here. So I decided to add this building that is a little bit more noise reductive, or it doesn't have that many windows to signify that nobody really wants to stay here. But I don't want to make this like a pure concrete wall, because that would just look ugly. And I'm now placing in roads, which are pathways at the same time, so that the buildings are connected to services and so that people can walk into their homes, because it has to have access. And the population here is, I guess, 2,000 people, because we've placed a lot of high density buildings here. And am I using a realistic populations mod? But yeah, the population here is quite large, and that's attributed with the three buildings. And the base building that connects all three towers are also residential. So yeah, we have a big population in this place. And now I'm building the central pool. Now this pool is made by using an elevated pathway for it to become like the top of the pool, or where the side of the pool is, pool side. And then I'm using what do you call this, the terraforming network, so that we can sink down the terrain here, and we're going to be placing a water source here. I decided to do that instead of using a water texture decal, because the pool is quite large and there is not that many assets in the workshop for pools. If you guys have any suggestions for pool assets, because I think there are a lot more pools that the city would have, comment them down below. Now, that is it. That's just very simple, a basic pool. I'm not doing that heavy of a detailing here, because this is not as important as, many of the other buildings in the city, like anything related to the palace, to the Capitol building, the palaces that I'm going to be building in the next episode. Here's a little sneak peek of that. Yes. And other more significant places in the city. This is just going to be like one of those medium detailed builds. It's not going to be low like filler builds. It's going to be on the medium upper end. But yeah, I've just placed down those Japanese station entrances so that people can so that it look like that there's a base, that they're all connected together, for homogeneity. And now I'm placing down these gazebos, but they're actually supposed to be jacuzzis. Now, we have to be a little bit creative while playing the game this way, because I don't want to download that many assets for the city, because I don't want load times to take longer than it already does. So yeah. And we're also using the networks. These networks are a game changer for me. If you've been following the series, you'd know how much I have used this network to make custom pathways, because this is much better than using props and decals, because I'm just gonna be placing an invisible road under it. So why not just use the road itself? But some place in the city will just be, decalized rather than networks, because I don't want people to walk there actually. And I'm adding in grass surface here as well, so that the terrain differences won't be noticed as much. And yeah, I think it kind of works quite well for this side, just elevating I can't speak. So that they would be under the elevated pathways but above the terrain, if you know what I mean. Now I'm adding in these grass surfaces to the top of these entrances, so that it would be like, just imagine a walkway or a contiguous balcony alongside these three buildings, because why not? We have to have different levels of height differences, and so that a lot of public space for people, because you wouldn't really want to be staying inside your house all the time. You would also want a little bit of time to go outside, because even though, I love staying here inside the house, we should also go outside once or twice a month. Just kidding. Whenever you feel like it, because we still need the sun, even though the sun is burning hot, scorching hot. And yeah, now you'd see me actually place those surfaces on top of the grass of the green roof. Now we are doing the road connections to this place, and we have an entry road right here on the side. It has 4 lanes, but it's not that heavy usage. I just wanted to have like a little bit of allowance for it, because if traffic backs up here, now the nodes are close, the intersections are close to each other, so we gotta have a wider road for that. And I also placed down that building right there. Those are the Dubai Opera assets, I guess. Now that has to be like the rest house or clubhouse or whatever from the original building, but I can't place any building. I can't do that much custom buildings here, because this is not that an important of a building, and I'm just gonna be creative with it. And using node controller and intersection marking tool, we're gonna be making this intersection gorgeous. But for now, I'm just fixing up the pavements, the pathways on the sides, because Japanese roads have almost the same texture, I guess, with the asphalt that they have. The pavement is a little bit darker than the pavement that I'm using for the pedestrian lanes, and I'm just changing it up a bit so that you would actually know if this is where you should walk or where people should be driving. Now it's a little bit hard to work with this. It needs a little bit of getting used to working with this asset right here, this network. But once you do, it will be of great help for you. Now I'm using node controller to change the segment or the shape of the road so that it would be perfectly fit the building here that is curved, so that there wouldn't be any loose ends or like patches of green in areas that we don't want any patches of green, and also making the intersection smoother, giving a little bit of curvature, as you can see. And I think it turned out pretty well. And yeah, I'm also changing in the heights, just making it a little bit more perfect. And now I guess I'm gonna be doing a lot more refinements. Here we are. Now we are doing the entrance to the residential area. Use your intersection marking tool to map out where the cars should go and what path they should follow. We have one lane going to the left, one lane going to the right, and so on and so forth. Just doing this is a very basic detailing. And I'm also adding in a grass median here so that, you know, we can continue the greenery revolution, because it's super hot in the tropics and we're taking inspiration from Singapore. And the series is, if you haven't been following, set in the near future. And in the near future, you know what it will be. In the near future, it's going to be hot. It's going to be hotter than before. So we have to have a lot of green areas, a lot of ways to mitigate the heat. And later on, you're going to be seeing me place those heat mitigation techniques in this building. But for now, we're going to be placing down this decal, this big decal. The name is big, but it's not huge. It's from the Big American Roads pack, I guess. And these are the pathways that they have for suburban houses in America. And I reused them to make these small pathways for the upper deck, the rooftop gardens, the rooftop park. It's not a garden because we don't have that many flowers here. But yeah, I'm just placing them at an angle depending on what angle the building is, and I'm adding in this like much larger pavement decal so that there would be a place to gather, because you know you would also want to stand and just chill and have places to gather on top of the rooftop. Now I am not opting for super high detail, as I've said. I even forgot to place the benches here, so you know people wouldn't be really sitting down here, but it would be a nice place if this was in real life. This rooftop would be a nice place for the residents to just chillax and enjoy the views of the city. And you know, it's quite a nice place to gather in. But I'm not doing that much detailing here because the Cities Skylines, the game, doesn't really like having a lot of details here, and the frame rate here would be lower, and there are limits to how much we can place in the game. If I continue with everything being super high detailed, it would just be too laggy, and if I continue with low detail, it wouldn't look as good as the other places. So that's why we have to find the balance between detail and performance, quality and performance of the game. But you know, we have to be just creative with it. And even though I try my best to limit the amount of detail I place for the areas in the city, I still tend to detail them to some degree that shouldn't be. Like this fence right here, I should have just used a network, but I decided to use a prop because now the networks that I was using were not that good, and these were the ones that looked good. These are iron fences. I think these are from Paris, I'm not sure, but they serve the purpose of protecting the people from falling out into the train tracks or down to their imminent deaths. Wow. It's Halloween, so happy Halloween. I'm recording this on Halloween, so a little bit of a scary tone there, even though it's super late to be uploaded. But yeah, I'm just placing them down, fixing it, the detailings, before we go on with detailing the area with trees. Yes, look at that. Smooth, perfect refinements. Okay, I am changing the fence here. I'm adding another fence here, and it's like a smaller type of fence. These are from Korea, I guess. And this place right here, this empty lot at the bottom, I'm still not quite sure what I'm going to be placing there. If you guys have any suggestions, hit me up in the comments. I'm thinking of just leaving it as an empty grass patch because the city also needs that for realism. But yeah, now I am doing the detailing. It's very basic, so anybody can basically do this. Placing in palm trees near the pool and just placing in these hazel trees all around. And I'm also going to be placing them on top But the thing is, you can't place trees on top of buildings. They clip to the terrain, so you have to use props instead. And that's what I'm going to be doing later on. Now I'm using much larger trees to cover this area up because the hazel trees are, I have a high tree level, so it consumes more energy for the computer for it to render, and we have lower tree buildings there, and it just looks the same far away. So I'm just going to be keeping it at that. I'm also going to be, I tried to add like palm trees on the sides, like those roads in California and Los Angeles, but it just didn't seem quite right, and this road is a little bit, doesn't make any sense. Like in Beverly Hills, yeah, I was trying to catch the Beverly Hill vibes, but I was not successfully doing it, bro. Like, but yeah, so I just decided to opt with the generic road detailing and a grass median on the center, adding in more trees here. Now these trees are everywhere in the city, and they have been a game changer for the series because early on in the series I was using a completely different one, and now I'm using this one. You'd also see me, fill in that triangular gap there on the side with some offices, and now we're going to be actually doing the detailing on the top, on the rooftop park. Now we're just using these small filler bushes. Now these are the lower quality ones, but they do the job, right? You get it right. And we're adding conifers to the side to give it a little bit more verticality of sorts. And then we're just going to be adding in some hazel trees so that there would be shade here, because you wouldn't want to stand up in scorching heat and just, be hot physically, temperature wise, not the hot. Anyways, let's get back to the video. I'm changing it to night. It's getting dark, and I'm finishing up the lighting because some roads have no dedicated what do you call this, street lights, and I also want to have a finer level of control while placing down these street lights, the lighting at night, because I have I have a video, a special video coming up, which is the cinematic video of the city at night. If you guys want to check them out early, it's already on patreon.com/Calejandro, and you get a lot more exclusive content like that and early videos or the episodes as early as I upload them. The next episode is actually already on Patreon, so if you guys want to check them out, patreon.com/Calejandro. Yes. Now I'm just adding in these like lighting on the bottom of the rooftop bases, and that looks quite good. Now I'm going to be going into the live play to just get closer, to have a close look, and you'd see the details much more. And welcome to the live play. This is the public housing complex. Now you can see here the added detail we have that I added in this thing here at the bottom. So you have like lights from the top. What is this? There's a prop sticking out. You won't see that anyway. But yeah, we have lights at the bottom of the roof deck, and from afar it looks like it's lighting it up beautifully. It's like floating above, but this should go continuously, but we don't have assets for that. Like we don't have an LED network light thing, and this is the best we've got. And if I do that, like these props like equidistant with one another, like very short, it would be a little bit too bright. So that's that. This is the rooftop deck. It's nighttime, so we don't have that much things visible. It's not that bright though, because you don't want this to be a little bit bright, because people live here and it would be hurting the eyes of people. We have people actually walking here. These are entrances. I think there's supposed to be a parking space also part of this base building here, but I just added only one parking building here, which is that was the previous build that failed to be recorded in the last episode. We have gorgeous. Look at how gorgeous that makes it seem, like the roof deck. It's just gorgeous. A lot of people are walking because this place has a lot of population, and at night the building just looks gorgeous. It's paired with the skyline. It does not, I didn't place a lot of lighting here on the sides, but these on the top, these like rooftop thingies, I think this is like a roof deck a much higher part of the roof deck. I think, yeah, this one. There's helipad on top of it because why not? It's gorgeous. This wooden frame that they have, like horizontal wooden frame, just gives it a little bit of a gorgeous vibe to it. And yeah, these are Korean buildings. Yes, because why not? We're taking inspiration from Asia. And just look at how beautiful this is. This public housing development here is also... We also have an older one, which is that one. It has lower height, smaller buildings, but it's still high density. And we have private residences here. Now, private residences in Magayon are quite rare. Most buildings that I will be placing residential would be public housing, but once we go into the capital, it would be older buildings, but they would be owned privately because of restrictions. Now I'm just gonna go back to daytime mode so that you'd see everything clearly. Okay, is this good? Is this gorgeous? There we go. Now this place right here, if you haven't seen this episode, the links are gonna be down below. They also have their own access road here. And oh, what happened to this intersection? The decals in this intersection, I need to fix that up real quick because they are elevating and we don't want that. We'll just select the decal here so that it doesn't collide with any other decal I might have placed here. I think that's fine. It's not aligned because I changed this road here, but this road connects this radiating road continuously. This wide boulevard, this boulevard right here is part of the road that connects the entire to the Grand Central, to the capital, all the way across into Salin Salid, and even connecting to the sports hub and everything. This is one of the city's main highways. I mean main avenues, because this is the only highway we have left for now. And we have this one here as well. A lot of traffic in the city. A lot of people are trying to go into their new homes, I guess. But yeah, traffic flow in this intersection also is quite good. Not a lot backing up. Yep. It's quite nice. Okay, let's get back to the video. I get distracted easily. There's also a metro station here. So this place is of premier land value. It's like a premier residential area because just one walk away and you can go to this Grand Central train station and you can use the metro and go anywhere around the city, or use the bike network around the city, the city's extensive bike network, which you'll be seeing in the next episode. So if you guys want to check that out, hit like. So if you guys want to check that out, hit that bell notification so you'll be notified whenever I upload a brand new video. Now we have this empty lot right here. I'm still not quite sure on what to place at this slot. I'm thinking of just keeping it empty, or maybe even adding offices, since this entire avenue here is of great importance and a lot of foot traffic is going here as well. But on this side, we're going to be having big retail commercial like malls or big commercial blocks here. Here alongside the river, I think I'm going to be placing another residential area here and here, because if you have water, that means it's high value. And there's a pathway that will connect this part as well here to Ginza, which is the luxury shopping district, and maybe even the bike network as well in the future. If you guys want to check them out, I'm very quite excited for this part of the city. But yeah, I'm also planning on covering this up or rebuilding this, or revamping, renovating this central train station. For now, it looks, it serves its purpose. You can see the trains coming in and out, but I want to give this a little bit more significance. I want to add, there's a lot of people here. I need to fix the city's transportation system in a later episode, but I'm thinking on making this live up to its name, Grand Central, because right now it doesn't look anything close to being grand. It's not even central, because from the city, it's like the city center is over here and it's like over here. That is not the green roof in this building though. It's not loading properly because I have increased or decreased the depth of field, for that matter, to give this look that you have here, because if it's like this, it just feels you don't see the geometry of it clearly. But if it's like this, you'd see the geometry of the building better. and it just makes everything look consistent. There's no distortion. There's little distortion to the thing. If you guys want to take a thumbnail, for that matter, you can use a lower depth of field of view, so that you'd have like a consistent scaling of the buildings. Farther buildings are the same size as buildings that are closer, but that will reduce your quality. As you can see here, we have this beautiful avenue here that goes continuously, and it will continue on to a roundabout that we will be building in the next episode. That is the next episode right there. There's going to be an underground thingy there, so if you guys want to check that out, they're already on Patreon. And yeah, I think this is it. I think we can go even closer here, like on first person. Okay, we're gonna go into first person. I'm changing the format of this episode, giving it a live play sequence at the end, making the time lapse a little bit shorter, because you really wouldn't want to watch me just scrolling through, find it, and all that kind of stuff. Now, going into first person, you can really see how beautiful this place is. There's a small walkway here, but you don't actually have to walk here. You should be walking here. I placed a dedicated thing here. People are biking on the pathways because this build is, you don't have that much bikes. But yeah, this is the pool. As you can see, it doesn't really look like a pool. It just looks like a pond in the middle of it. But yeah, it serves its purpose. There's water in the middle of the buildings. There's the sun right there. And there's the daughter. There's the daughter. Anyways, yeah, let's just walk through here. This building here also serves as a privacy protection for the people, so that people going in the building wouldn't see you like swimming at the pool. And we're going to be adding something else here to cover that up. More bushes, I guess. Now this is the jacuzzi, but it's a gazebo. I think it should very dry off. And this is one of the areas lower tiered plazas, and there are restaurants here, I guess. There you go, there's a restaurant inside. And here on this side we have another one, but this has a basketball court. Now I'm just using the vanilla basketball and volleyball, tennis assets, park assets, because they have animated people playing on them. Now this, why are you sunken down? I don't care. Let's go up. And the way to go up this park is you can use this park. My accent is sleeping once again. You can either go to one of the base buildings or use the towers. And I guess the towers would have exclusive access. You can only access this rooftop if you are a citizen. So this is the view of the rooftop gardens. As you can see, it's quite basic. The texture of this building is quite low when you go close to it. And I'm on medium settings only because why not? It's just less taxing for the laptop. And the rooftop gardens have this gorgeous view of the Olympic Stadium right there at this corner. Look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? The Olympic Tunnel, the Olympic Village is on that side behind it. That building, it's not that visible because it's very flat, which is the point. The point of the Olympic Village is to blend seamlessly with their surroundings, and that is the Olympic building, the Olympic Torch, and the Aquatic Center and public housing there. This is the northern side. There's a bit of traffic. There's not many trains here. This is an amazing place to stay if you like watching trains, because you'd literally see the trains going into the station, and that's the view of Mayon volcano right there. Now, this is another reason why living here is quite gorgeous, because there won't be any taller buildings in this side of the city because of height restrictions, but there is a huge clump of buildings there. I'm thinking of building a La Défense in Paris. I'm thinking of building something like La Défense in Paris there, but also Quezon City, and a mix and match of all of those. And yeah, just the mountains here. It's very much living in an urban area, but it's like not. You know what I mean? It's like the perfect balance of both. There's a city center right here, and there's gorgeous forests there. And yeah, I guess that's that. I could have added in a park above here as well, like custom detailed this, which I did in the last build that was not recorded, but I would just take so much time and I wouldn't be here that often. And yeah, this is not what the series is about. The series is about building a Philippines never colonized, and taking inspiration from other places and see how it would look like if that were the case. Here we have, oh, there's actually a train here. Gorgeous Japanese building. More Japanese buildings. This is very Japanese. Another Japanese building. A piscina here. And we have more offices here. And a lot of people. Like, no joke, there are tons of people walking along the streets. And also, but if you're using the cinematic mode, it lessens the amount of things you're rendering, so therefore you have a higher frame rate. I think I'm going to be giving this road its own street system. Oh, I think the reason why people are biking on the sidewalk is because they can't access the bike network on the other side, which is going on that direction. I'm gonna be fixing that. Gonna be making a bike lane or a bike intersection there and making custom pathways here. And yeah, look at this gorgeous view of this building here. And with this gorgeous view, I think I'm going to be ending the episode here. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, comment down below what you want to see next, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. And if you guys want to show your support to this channel, consider becoming a patron on patreon.com/Calejandro, and you'd not only be showing your support to this channel, you'd also get exclusive content, early access to videos as soon as I upload them, and so much more. Making these videos take a lot of time, from researching to what we're going to be building, taking inspiration from making sure that each build works together with the previous builds we've built and letting it fit the entire lore of the series, and making it look good. Also, from editing to post-production and everything in between. Those take a lot of time. So if you guys want to show your support and help out the channel, consider becoming a patron. But if you can't, that's okay. You can still click like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification to be notified whenever I upload a brand new video. The next episode is already up on Patreon early for all patrons. So if you guys want to check it out, links are down below. This is Calejandro signing off. Bye!